are live.
Live.
I don't believe you.
Ready for those eyes. Come on. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Still not.
Yeah, we're
Still
going.
not populated yet. You're still not live.
Populated.
We're live, but not live.
No peoples.
Come on. There we go. Y'all ready?
Yes,
Here
sir.
we go. Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast with your host, Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, Matt with Wacky Works Workshop, Jen with Jen's Turns, Jamie with JP Woodwork, and Jake with Northside Custom Crafts. Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast, episode 41. And today we have the man, Mr. Keith from Blackthorn Concepts.
Hello.
There he is.
What's going on? How's it going?
It's going good. How's it going with you guys?
So, Keith, we usually started off and just give us a little background of how you got started.
I started in what? Making?
Or
I
anything.
have a good
whatever
story.
you
I've
wanna-
always done it, you know?
Yeah.
Since I was
Yeah.
a kid playing with Legos or Matchbox, I was always modifying my Matchbox, playing with Lego. Never stopped once I hit wood shop in middle school. So, brings me to here today, I guess.
How do you modify a Matchbox car?
Oh, I used to paint them. Used to pop the wheels off of other ones and put them on. Yeah. Modify everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a problem. It's a real problem. Yeah. They never once looked better.
No, don't give up, man. Don't give up.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's it. And then once I hit wood shop in middle school, when I went to high school, I took every wood shop I could, and then I went to college and I took every wood shop in college to be a shop teacher, and then I graduated and didn't become a shop teacher. So yeah.
Really? You could be a shop teacher.
I could be, in theory, yeah.
Hopefully not
Wood
the one
shop,
I had.
metal shop, yeah.
I went to one wood shop in junior high, and the dude's giving a safety brief, and he chops his thumb off while he's telling us how to be safe.
Don't do this.
Yeah. He's like, you guys always be. He's looking at us as he's cutting, and the band's like, hey, you guys. Bam! There goes thumb. He's like, "Oh crap!" And then he leaves, and I'm like, "Man, I don't think I want to do wood shop."
Yeah, I bet not.
This is what you got to do to work there. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a lot of injuries like in high school or college, but nothing like when the teacher cut his own thumb off. That's pretty intense.
Wow.
Ours was like we had it, and there was like you could do some stuff. They had some machinery there, but the majority of it was metalworking. That's what it was mainly based on, because we're a big agricultural place down here. So, welding, doing all that kind of stuff. That was the biggest portion. Like we didn't have it was called ag.
Yeah,
class.
we had ag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we had
that's
the
where
same
that
thing.
kind of took place, which that was the majority of it, was making barbecue pits, or if a farmer needed something, whatever, they'd bring it, and they'd allow us to bring it in there and try to fix it for them or whatever. But yeah, that was what it was. I think it was a table saw, a few routers, and just not very big equipment. We didn't have a bandsaw. It was just it was a metal bandsaw, but they didn't cut any wood on it or anything like that.
Yeah,
Or thumbs.
we had a metal shop, we had an ag shop, we had a automotive shop, wood shop. It was cool.
We had all those, but I was a nerd and didn't take any of them. So
No.
I took wood shop in 6th grade, and I remember asking the teacher about it, and he said, "Yeah, I just take this class. I just teach this class so they let me smoke cigars." He said there's no cigars the whole time.
Those are the good old days, man. Yeah.
That's where you'd find all the smokers back there
All this,
around the corner hiding from the ag teacher.
the smoke. I remember being in elementary school, and there's smoke coming out of the teacher's lounge.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good old days.
Times.
All right. Hey, Keith, so I appreciate you being on. For people at home, my name is Jake from Northside Custom Crafts, and I usually do an icebreaker. My icebreaker for you, Keith, is if you were a betting man, who would you put your money on this weekend in the Super Bowl?
The commissioner. No.
He's a winner.
Yeah. I would have to say the Chiefs. For sure.
I think they're going to take it. I think they're
24-14 is my guess. Yeah.
What is it?
24-14.
24-20, somewhere in that range.
I put my deal on OhmTech 24-13. That was my guess on their deal.
I know
need
I
to check
did
my
24
squares.
to win. I forget what the other one was on the OhmTech deal.
I need to check my squares to see if I won already.
Landon told me I won.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hello everybody. I'm Jen with Jen's Turn, and Keith, my first question for you is: we've all seen Joey working on this, Make What You Fear, and we've seen you doing some on your page too. Can you tell us a little bit about that challenge and how it came about?
Sure. It's a challenge that the Working Hands podcast, which I'm a co-host with Tony on. When we had 3 co-hosts, we came up with it. I think Tony came up with it. And it's just a challenge we put out in December every year. It's 3 months this year. And the idea is to challenge yourself this year. So whether it be a new medium that you've never worked with, a new process you've never done, or a project that you had failed on in the past, we want you to do at least 5 posts on Instagram and complete a product with those parameters, with any one of those 3, and just challenge yourself. And then in the 5 posts, tell us why it was challenging, and whoever does the best product and the most challenging to them, or whatever the story was for them as to why they built it, is going to win. We got some cool prizes and stuff, so it's fun. We've tried a couple different things. Like the first year was just a new medium, but that's hard for a lot of like the Renaissance people out there who do a little bit of everything. They're like, well, or it's hard for somebody who only does woodworking to then buy tools and stuff for the other things. So we kind of broadened it a little bit this year. So
Nice. Is there a committee that votes on who wins, or is it just you and Tony, or
it's
votes
me and,
go out?
no, it's me and Tony. No
Yeah.
voting, because then it becomes a popularity contest, and that's not fair. So, but this year there's only 1 winner. In the past, we had 3 winners the first year, and then I think we did 10 winners last year because we had so many sponsors. So we kind of pulled back on the sponsors this year, and it's just 1 winner take all. So bring what you got, and hopefully we get a good turnout. It's just like anything in the maker community. Everyone waits to the last minute to start posting about whatever they're working on, or so.
Yeah.
We still got time.
That runs till what? When is that?
The last time you can post your last reel is March 31st. So anytime on that day, as long as when we open our thing, it says it was posted on March 31st or before, is the last day that you
That's a
can
good day.
enter.
I hear that's a good day.
Is it?
Why?
It's my birthday.
She tells us every chance she gets.
That's
Every
right.
chance.
Well, happy birthday in advance.
Oh, thank you.
So, for people at home, my name's Matt with Wacky Works. Keith, I'm looking at all the on your Instagram posts, and it's like you're everywhere. You're like American Express. Everywhere everybody wants to be.
Yeah.
You got that going on. You got the podcast going on, social media, your wood shop going on, then your day stuff. How do you keep all that together? I mean, I just got to know. I mean, it's like, what the heck?
I have insomnia and I have no kids.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The no kids thing is like tremendous, but I mean, you just keep it together and got things going smooth.
I don't know if I keep anything together, but yeah. And I don't do as much as Instagram portrays me as,
Well, it looks great.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to make yourself look busy when you do one project in a day and then span it out over a few posts.
Watch this. I got 75 posts right here. Put my feet up for a while.
Yeah.
What's funny about
It's
funny about social media. Sorry, what's funny about social media is it's like that's all they see. That's all anybody's going to see. They don't see maybe you took a couple days off, or maybe you had a day where you didn't want to do anything or whatever. They just see that, hey, look at all this stuff that got done. They don't
see
realize
all
that
the lazy time on the couch
It's-
watching TV.
yeah. It's just like everybody else.
I'm gonna take a shot
I had
for that and go on.
years ago. I had somebody that was they just seemed busy. They come and visited the shop, and I was like, "How do you do it?" And they basically had the same answer. I don't. Just like you, it's kind of one of those like they were tricked by the social media thinking that people are capable of more than what they are or something like that. I guess maybe that's not the right way to put it, but
You mean I don't have to do all this stuff?
yeah.
I guess just being real good about spreading out that all those different recordings you have and just chopping it, and you really can have a lot of reels to put out for a long time on one little deal, if you're good.
Or you
if you're
do a
good at
different edit. I mean, I haven't gotten into it yet, but I'm trying to do like one a day now, and that's ridiculously tough. And I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze yet, but that's tough, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll like re-edit something that I used in a different post and just post that for the day. So, it's tough.
Well, out of all the places that you've been, what was like your favorite one to go to?
What, like event, like maker event?
Yeah.
Maker camp for sure. Maker
Maker
camp,
camp.
100%.
Yeah, that segues into my question is I want to know about that. Like I'm planning to go up there this year and rub elbows with y'all Northerners. So you've been going since the first time it was conceived. So can you tell us about it and tell our listeners, what to expect or what, why go
Why
to that? Why Maker Camp?
So Maker Camp is it's like I've heard it described as like Burning Man, but for makers. So it is in a field at a like a campground resort that's got like hotel rooms and campgrounds and stuff. And you go there, and they have tents set up all over the place with all different disciplines, whether it's blacksmithing, woodworking, printmaking, leatherworking, pottery, glass blowing, welding, you name it, they have it, right? And you get to go around, and a lot of it is, I'd say 99% of it is hands-on, right? So you get to go in and try everything. There's like making takes, and like you go in there and you make something, and then you get to take it home. It's just a fun event. A lot of people go. It's like 3 or 4 days long, depending on when you show up. There's like a Thursday night party on Thursday. Then it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of Columbus Day weekend every year, and it's a fantastic event. And then there's nightlife at the end, like there's bands or karaoke or something that night, and they have a big campfire there, and people are just hanging out, having a good time. But you can learn a lot. Like there's classes you could take, and you can learn how to power carve or learn how to weld and try all the different disciplines and maybe figure out how it's going to work in your workflow, like to add a new discipline. It's a good place to go and try everything out. So I highly recommend it. And then during the winter, they do intensive classes where you can go up and you can take, like I just got done with a leatherworking class with those guys, which was 3 days of just working with all the different stuff to make a pair of sneakers. And then we made wallets and a bunch of other stuff. So they do intensives like throughout the year.
I saw your shoes. They turned out really cool.
Yeah, they were fun to make too. Real cool. Yeah. I think this is like epoxy. They're doing an epoxy class with Dre from Dre. That's cool. And there's blacksmithing and something coming up. So it's a wild time. I've been to some other events, and it's like have you ever been to like the woodworking shows or some of those other ones? And they're just like, here's products that we have to sell you. And there are things that you can buy at Maker Camp. Most of it is more of a hands-on skill pair type event. So it's awesome. Yeah, fun.
So,
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, the segue into that is like, how was it all born? Who was at the beginning of this? What kicked it off? Like, how did it all, like, there's a bunch of things like even the challenges and stuff. Who's the catalyst for all this stuff, and what kicked it all off?
So there's a gentleman, Austin Handel. He is one of the family members who owns the resort. There's a couple groups of family members, and they do events all year, but he is a blacksmith and a knife maker. And he was like, oh, I always wanted to do an event where I could get all my idols to come in, all the people he looked up to online, to just come here and do a hammer in. And lo and behold, one day he met Jimmy DeResta and found out he lived down the street. So they became fast friends. And then through that, they came up with doing a bigger event, and they came up with Maker Camp. So he did it, and then he had Jimmy help him out with promotion for the first year, and it took off from there. And now it's an animal. It's awesome.
Seems like it's I think it's pretty cool versus other conferences that are out there, is being able to go put your hands and actually do things. I think it's and just being outside, and I can't, to be able to go see that part of the area and be out there and actually see trees, because down here in Texas we don't have trees. So I just got to be prepared to take a lot of winter clothing, because we're not used to that cold stuff.
They're going to have all this cool stuff to do, and Joey just going to be walking around looking at the trees.
Be freezing in the corner.
Joey's going to become a tree hugger for the weekend.
You can't even saw up your own lumber there. Like, they have a chainsaw mill that they run. You can get behind the chainsaw.
Really?
Ronders runs that. Yeah.
That would be so cool.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Because they have y'all actually do during these winter months. They usually build a structure during Maker Camp, right? So y'all call it like the timbering or timber
in.
Timber
Yeah.
in?
So that is a play on a hammer in. So a hammer in is where a group of blacksmiths get together and they just work in the forge and they make things. It's called a hammer in. So awesome. Reach out to Justin Dietrich, and he's a big timber framer, and they do what's called a timber in during the summer. So everyone goes up there, and you buy a ticket and you go up there and you get the weekend, like, hotel room, and meals are paid for and everything. And you go up there and you cut all the lumber for all the joinery on whatever structure they're going to build. One year was a pavilion. One year was like a bridge over a pond they have there. One year was like a barbecue pavilion is what we just built this past year. We go up. If you take the class, then you go up, you'll get to learn how to do it, and you cut up all the lumber. And then at Maker Camp, they erect whatever the structure is during the Maker Camp. So anyone who's at Maker Camp can get a taste of the timber framing, like, during the event if they want. So it's fun.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Bear Paw would like to know if tickets are on sale yet.
I believe they are, yeah. If you go to the Catskill Mountain Makercamp.com, I would Google that because I may be wrong on that one, but it's kind of a long, whatchamacallit, or at the Maker Camp on Instagram, and then you follow their link tree, and it'll bring you to Eventbrite, and you can buy, I think you can buy the Silver Pass tickets now. So
people that are going to listen to this, if they're interested in going, what do you recommend? Like, as far as accommodations and stuff like that, since, you've been around there for a little bit.
Yeah. I'll be there tomorrow. So as far as the accommodations go, the rooms are already sold out. They sell out the day after Maker Camp ends. So there are no rooms on that campus. They do have a couple sister hotels that the main resort manages, where you can call up the Blackthorn and try and get one of those. If they're not sold out, that I don't know yet. Or you could, like, on the campground, you can just camp with a tent. Like, if you're okay camping, bring a tent and you can camp there. That, I believe, is included with what's called the Silver package. Or if you're going to go for the weekend, buy tickets for the weekend, it includes a campsite. It's also an RV park, so if you rent an RV or have an RV and can get it there, then you can call them up and reserve an RV spot and do an RV there. Or the town has a bunch of other like resorts or motels around. You're not going to find like a 5-star Hilton up there, but there's plenty of places to find up there. So Airbnb, something like that. There's a ton of accommodations. There's no reason to not go just because you don't like tent camping if that's not your thing. So, yeah.
Cool. That sounds like a good time.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I don't camp when I go, but only because I have a room and I keep reserving it every year, so I don't have to camp. but I hear a lot of the guys that camp, they all hang out by the fires at night, and like it's like a whole nother experience that I've never experienced. So that's a good way to go.
Yeah, this fat boy ain't doing no camping, but
He's doing some glamping.
Body
I'm
positivity, man. Body positivity.
I'm too bougie for that. Ain't gonna happen.
Joe, you so fancy.
I know a lot of people that go who don't want to camp, and they do have services up there, not through the Maker Camp or not through the Blackthorn Resort, but they have a lot of services up there. And you'd have to do some research on it, but you can call up a place. Like if you're traveling in from, say, Texas, you can call up a place and they will bring an RV to the campground, set it up, and leave the key at the front desk. So when you get there, it's like going into your own hotel room. It's just an RV there.
Ooh,
So
I can do that.
yeah. Or you can rent one and then bring it there if you want, or rent a truck, or rent one of the driving ones, or rent a Sprinter van. You could do that too. But there's a lot of I forget the different types of things, but it's like an Airbnb but for RVs. And some of the RV services will offer delivery, and they'll drop it off. And it depends on which one you want, where you're getting it from, as to how much the drop off service is going to be. But I haven't heard anyone say it's a terrible price point. Like they're all like, yeah, I'll do it. And if you get a couple people in one, then it gets to be cheap. So
It'd be like
and
a
as-
2 or 3 week trip for me. I'm in Sacramento, so be cross country. I'll just pick people up along the way.
There you go.
I highly recommend it though.
Stopping at your house, your turn to drive.
Yeah, it's a real good time. If you do stay at there's a sister hotel called the Weldon House, and if you stay there, they do run a shuttle, like back and forth between where Maker Camp happens and that resort. I don't know if they do it for other resorts as well, but I'm sure if they sell out a huge block of a different resort, they might offer that as well. But I've never heard of that, but I'm always on campus, so I don't know.
Nice. The Wooden Mustache is in the chat, and he says there is a shuttle for certain off-premise motels too.
Yep.
So that's good. Nice.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. If you can get there, I highly recommend it. It's awesome.
So while you're there, while we're on this, and I'm just gonna take it away. Is there a place
There's you,
to
man.
get like food and stuff while you're sitting there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have what's called like a dining hall there. So you can buy a meal plan for the dining hall, and they offer breakfast and dinner through the dining hall. So that's just like a prefix type thing. You go and you can like choose like chicken or beef or whatever the offering is, and they serve that for breakfast and dinner. But there's also, like, right in the field where everything happens, there is a tiki bar there, what they call a tiki bar. So there's a bar there, and they offer any like bar type foods like right there at the thing. They have some food trucks. They were supposed to have some food trucks last year, but with the rain, they all canceled. But there's also a bar right at the main entrance. It's like a full on bar with a full kitchen, and you can go down there for lunch or dinner, whatever you want.
Oh.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
So
And then-
they got everything kind of corralled in there where you don't have to, I guess, leave.
I pull up I go Thursday. I pull up on Thursday, and on Monday morning I leave. Everything else is covered. I don't leave the premises for anything. If I was staying off site, maybe you'd have to leave to go back to wherever you're staying, but there's really no reason to leave. So what a lot of people do is if they fly into the nearest airport, they all carpool from the airport to Maker Camp, and once you're there, there's no reason to leave. So you don't need a car. Like, you can rent one car for 4 people and be fine.
Yeah. It sounds fun. I watch the Instagram posts every year, and I'm like, man, I wish there was one on this coast.
Dang it.
But dang it.
I will say, like, I'm a huge proponent of the Maker Camp. I don't know if you guys have figured that out yet, but
Couldn't tell.
Tell me about it.
yeah,
I'm a little slow.
I don't think it could happen and be Maker Camp anywhere else. I think there's something special about where it is and the people that run that resort that they just make it happen. Like they have the resources that you need, right? And if there is something that's needed, there's a guy down the street who has it, right? So like, it's amazing. Like this year in the rain, like it was like the 100-year rain. Like they'd never seen that much rain before, and they were there like instantly with hay bale. Like, how do you get hay bales? I mean, it's a resort, and they came in with more hay bales than you needed to just kind of sop up the mud, you know. When the water was backing up in the pavilion, they just brought their grounds crew over, as we call them, the Gator Boys. They come over and they start digging trenches to get water like out of the pavilion, because that was the only place like a lot of people were hanging out. And they, like, if you did that at like, I don't know, like a hotel where they had a field that you could do it, like they're not going to have those resources there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a special place, and they have power all throughout the fields. So like, no matter where they put a tent, there's power ready for you. It's great.
It's just one of those places like the good old boys. This is country folk, and they just get stuff done. When it needs to get done, it gets done. And it's some way or somehow it's going to happen. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like we were talking this week with Tony and I, and I think it's far enough away from the city that what happens there can happen, but it's also close enough to where that place can exist, you know? Like it's, as Tony says, it's the Goldilocks distance away from New York City. So,
So there's people that have never been to one before. They've never met their maker friends in person, or the people they look up to. Like the first time I went to a maker event, I was kind of scared to death to meet people, or I was afraid of how you just don't know how it's going to be. So can you speak to how it is there with everybody, how hospitable everybody is, and
it's
things like that?
It's like walking into like a family reunion is probably the best way to put it. Everyone's cool, and anyone who has an ego has to check it at the door, you know. So
that's what I'm talking about.
It's pretty cool meeting everyone. It's just like, you never know who you're standing next to. Like, I don't know faces that well, right? Sometimes you turn around and there's, you know, so-and-so who's actually famous, not just famous in the maker community. Like the guy from, what's that knife show? I don't know what it is.
Forge and Fire.
Yeah, that's the one. Jay Nielsen from that show, who I don't know who that is, but one day I was in line for something and he was just behind me, you know, like, I don't know who it is, but he doesn't care. Like everyone's just somebody. So
that's
you
cool.
don't have to worry about meeting anyone. There's no like hierarchy, like, oh, we're bigger than you. Or, that doesn't happen there. Some of the other events maybe, but not this one.
I was about to say, that's good.
Yeah.
and then I've learned when to shut up.
We could go down that route.
No,
too, if you want.
No.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Well, sounds like you know what I know.
Are we talking? No.
No. We're not going to get you rolling. No.
Come on, it'll be fun. What you invite me on for?
So there's a question in the chat.
Good girl.
Thank you.
Bearpaw would like to know, what's your favorite build you have done, and what is your least favorite?
I'd have to say my favorite was when I built my C10 pickup, and my least favorite was when I built my C10 pickup.
There you go.
There you go.
Wait, is this Matchbox or for real?
No, it was a real one. Yeah. I've since gotten rid of it, but I had it for like 20 years. It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest one. The least favorite, though, I don't know. Like, I had a lot of fun, like, building that one. I built it with a bunch of friends back in the day. My least favorite? I don't know. I mean, I have ones that I don't really like, but I don't know if I would classify any as a least favorite. Oh, no, the pizza peel where it was the wrong size. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I made a pizza peel for a customer, and I was told to make it 16 inches wide, and I got there and it needed to be smaller. So that sucked. But other than that,
hey, at least it wasn't the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you could cut it down. You can't make it bigger.
That's right. You can only take so much off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't add to it.
Okay, so That was
I was waiting for the Jake.
Well, and I was
was-
going to say,
it
here's
was
my
in-
Jake moment,
Yeah.
but I was
It
trying
was
to let
implied. It was
Yeah.
implied.
I was looking at your Instagram and I saw that you started using your tattoo gun to put the
did.
color into your laser work.
Machine.
What made you come up with that idea? And how's it work? Is it working how you want it to? Or
I do it on leather for tooling. And I got it recently. I got it 2 days ago, and it works great. Yeah,
So-
it's good.
well,
I haven't done color on it yet, so
That
You'd
is
have to
such a
paint that on
genius
later.
idea.
Oh,
Though.
it's
that
unreal.
that is freaking cool when I seen that.
I did when I took the leather course. What was that? 2 weeks ago now, a week and a half ago. The guy who created it, 21 grams leather goods on Instagram, he created it because he used to be a tattoo artist. So he created a way to make tattoo guns into this thing. And tooling, if you ever tooled leather, it's kind of tedious with the tool and hammer. And if you're off a little bit, this takes a more artistic approach to tooling leather, and you could just draw whatever you want with the different tips he has. And it's fun. It's fun.
Nice.
So far, aside from being in class, just messing around and making like whatever I made in class, I only did the one fly so far. So, but I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's something like tooling leather. I was like, yeah, but the way I'm doing it now, where you just like trace the outline and then you rip the paper off and then you do whatever you want. It's pretty wild.
So
It seems like you got. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, Joe. I just want to follow up. I must have scrolled too quickly. What were you using to put the color in? I think it was on a brass piece or something. What are you using? Because I thought that it was.
Oh yeah, that looks like a tattoo. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That is. It's just a fine detail. It's called a fine detail paint something. I don't know what it's actually
Is
called.
it like an air gun or something?
No. It's
Almost?
just a cup with a needle that comes out the bottom, and it's so fine that you have to like press it on something to get the ink to come out, almost like a ballpoint pen, but there's no ball in the end. And I don't have it in front of me, but it's just this real tiny, like fine, and you put a couple drops of paint in, and then you can like do it like fine line detail. And it's made for like if you have scratches on a car, that you can kind of like kind of fill in the scratch with the matching paint and then buff it, and then it's no good. That's what they're used for. But I was doing some laser work and figured, let's add some color in the middle here. So I got some green paint, and I put color on a ton of those brass tags now. So yeah, but that's
I was
all it
wondering
is.
how
I
that-
just use enamel paint, and I get them on Amazon. They're like either $12 or something, $11. They're kind of throwaway because they're very hard to clean. You can clean it like once, maybe twice, but that little fine, like it's like running a piece of hair through it is how you clean it, you know? So I just toss them. Like I try and do enough with one that I don't feel bad if I don't clean it, and then I just toss it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's fun.
Alright.
But if you ever have any small paint imperfections, it's perfect for that.
That's pretty cool.
Nice. I'll have to look into it. There's another question in the chat, but I'll let one of the guys go, and then we'll come back around to it.
Okay, so you went to tearing off wheels off Hot Wheels, and then your own C10, and then you also do some restorations.
Tool
some
restorations?
tool restorations. You did the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you like that? Is that it? I mean, that I've got one coming up, and I'm just curious. Is it as fun as it looks?
Yeah. I do it. I like old tools, and I like that color green. I paint everything.
Yeah.
So
It's a green.
yeah, I wouldn't buy a new tool and then paint it green. But if I'm gonna paint something, I'll paint it that green. So I like it. It just puts a couple of hints of that green throughout my shop. To do like the chairs quick, that's a quick win, right? To do the bandsaw where you have to tear it all down, replace all the bearings, things like that. It could be tedious, but like I wanted that bandsaw and I wanted to run like it was brand new. So I tore it all the way down. I did everything.
Kind of bandsaw was that? What brand was that?
It's a Delta. It's an old, it's a 19, it's either a 39 or a 1940 Delta. So it's been around. The only thing I didn't do was I did not restore the motor. I wouldn't do that myself. I would send it out, but
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. I would just buy a new motor for it. Like, I'm not one of those guys.
It's not. You just rewind it. It's not expensive. It's really not.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
it's
did
not.
My 3 horsepower. I did that on that 1948 Delta, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't.
Yeah. So I've done some. Like, I did a couple Walker Turner table saws, and then I wound up getting rid of them just because I wanted, a bigger saw.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoy it, but if you don't like it at the get go, just finish that project and don't start another one. You know,
Again.
is there a point?
It's kind of long drawn out, wouldn't it be? Because you got to get everything tore apart, everything cleaned, everything.
Yeah, and depending on what you get, you want to make sure that there's no lead paint, and then you're sanding it. So I have a guy I bring. He does the sandblasting for me now. So I'll just bring it to him, and he'll sandblast it off, and then that makes life easy. I leave the bearings in. I said, don't worry about the bearings. I'm replacing them. And I drop it off, and he sandblasts it for me. And it's not the best sandblasting because I don't pay much. I'm like, it's a tool. The next job you run, whenever you get to it, just let me know. And he throws it to the side, and when he has time, he'll pull it over and do it. And then he'll call me up, and he'll be like, they're all sandblasted, ready for you. And it's cheap enough to do it that way where I don't have to, like, getting rid of paint is like, whether you to do like the chemical etches or the citrus strip or any, that's the part I hate. Once I found this guy to sandblast everything, I'll do it all the time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all are always lucky though. Up there, y'all, I always hear y'all talking, man. Y'all come across some pretty cool things. It's just funny,
we're
like,
tripping on old machinery. If you talk to people in the South, we just trip on it over here. It's like in the way, right?
Yeah, it seems like it.
If it was combustible, we'd heat our houses with it. It's not. It's not that prevalent, but they are everywhere. They are everywhere. Like, if you want to find an old, like if I wanted to find another one of those bandsaws, I could probably find one by the end of the weekend and have it here. But it's what shape it's in. That's how much the guy thinks it's worth, and then how much work you need to do to it. Is it complete? Because to find parts is expensive on eBay because people just buy them and then rip them apart and sell them on eBay. So if it's not complete, then it gets to be expensive. So if you have a complete item and you know it's complete, the restoration's easy. Just order all your new bearings or whatever new parts you need and put it together. What are you going to restore?
1970 Delta Rocklet table saw.
Nice.
My issue with it is the gentleman before me, I only bought it for $100.
Okay.
Motor, everything. I got the motor rewound for $140, and but he decided to do some of the restoration himself with a belt sander to try to get 36 grit.
Yeah.
That's why you got it for $100. Yeah.
So that's my only issue right now is I might have to have it machined.
It has a non-skid surface.
Oh, he did the top with that.
Yeah. Only one little corner.
Find a new saw. It's probably cheaper. Are the wings good?
Wings are good. Wings are good. Everything's good
you
on
could
it.
probably find one of those new cast iron plates because it's a unisaw, I assume, right?
Yeah. And it's still got the hat. So the hat on the side is usually the hardest part to find to cover the motor.
Yeah.
It's got that. That's everything's there. It's just he just started sanding.
You don't need that corner. Don't worry about that corner.
I was excited.
It's literally it's been sitting in my corner. It's been sitting in the corner of my shop now for 2 years.
If you machine that down now, then then every time you need a new throat plate, you're gonna have to have a custom one, because it's never gonna match the same thing. That's
or just sand the whole thing with 36 grit, and then as a match.
There you go.
Shush.
Is that a no? Sorry.
I think your best bet is to just buy a new cast iron piece. I bet they're on eBay.
Yeah, I bet I can get them. I just never looked. It's just I thought, well, I can just do this whole thing and I can get it painted up because I got a 48 sitting in there too. That's what I use every day is my 1948.
I'll find you a new top, $500, but just Venmo me $500. I'll get you a new top tomorrow.
Forget I'm living down here in the South. I can find.
That's what I'm talking about. You're like, I know a guy.
Joe,
All
you want to
right.
go and then I'll ask the question from the chat?
Well, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. So
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
go back to Maker Camp, and y'all also put on.
Well, that's good because I wanted to go back to it myself.
There we go.
You also put on another event. You and Tony, Working Hands Podcast, do
Yes.
Maker Swap. Can
We
you
did.
tell us a little bit about it and how that's works and what needs to be done to enter into that?
Sure. So the Maker Swap I came up with after the first one because you go to these events, right? And you're there and you're meeting everyone and you're talking to them, and everyone wants to know what you make, and you meet people and no one knows everyone, right? So it's not like I don't follow everyone. I follow a very select few. So you meet somebody, like I meet Joey, and I'm like, Joey, what do you make? Well, the idea was so everyone can bring a little piece of what they make, and you put it in there, and it's a Maker Swap. So you put it in kind of like a drawing, and then you enter something and you get to go home with another maker's item. So with that, we just ask that everyone puts in their best work, whatever it is, make something that is based off of your skills, bring it, enter it in so that it's on display throughout the weekend. And then on Sunday, we do a drawing and you come and you get your, whatever the item that you're going to go home with. So it's like maker to maker. So it's fun. And the only real requirement is to bring your best. Like we don't want somebody just doing something real simple and throwing it in there. I call those lottery tickets. It happens every year. I'm doing my best to curb it, but people put in lottery tickets to go home with something else. There's knives that go in there like Damascus knives and toolboxes and crazy signs. Like one guy, Scott, made the Wesley Treat maker sign that he gave Jimmy DeResta. He made a miniature one, which it was still like 4 foot tall. It was huge and it was well done. Like there's like that level of stuff. I just read the comments. I apologize. And then there's all sorts, like any level of things. Like there's pottery people that enter. There's whatever your skill set is. Just bring your best and bring whatever your skill set is. Whatever level skill you're at, we don't care, but just bring the best. If you're obviously an accomplished maker and you bring a easy item that would be considered easy, it's just a bad look for you. So, but that's it. That's the only requirement. I think this year I'm going to try and curb the Maker Camp logo because we get a lot of Maker Camp logos, like a lot. Everyone likes to make that Maker Camp logo, and people have been doing it for years. And they put something in, and every year they go home with another Maker Camp logo.
I got 3 of those.
Yeah. And a lot of people have gotten through, and like we all love the Maker Camp, right? And anyone who knows what the swap is or participates in the swap pretty much loves Maker Camp. So that's cool and all, but like, I don't know. How many Maker Camp signs do you want in your house, or in your shop? That said, I'm looking around. I got like 20 here, but I'm kind of a weirdo, but yeah. So
I could see that going bad, doing like a white elephant Maker Camp swap.
well, the first year we did it, we thought it would be like 20 people would participate, right? Because that was 3 years ago. And I don't have a big following now. I had an even lesser following then. And like, I just asked Austin, I was like, hey man, I'm thinking about doing this. Can we do it there? He's like, yeah, sure. What do you need? I said, I don't know, picnic table, and just like, give me some place where I could put everything, whether it be like a locker or something. And turns out we needed a trailer. We had over 100 items, and it like blew up. And then, yeah, it's a big deal. Like this year, people were bringing like what is that called? Where you do the draw knife? Not a sawhorse, shave horse. Like somebody entered a shave horse that they made. Like this is some crazy. Like we took up almost a whole 20 by 20 tent this year of items. Like there's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot that happens.
That's cool. So bring your A game. Anybody out there?
Yeah, don't mess
do it?
around.
Yeah,
Bring your A game.
Yeah, or just listen to the Working Hands podcast when it gets closer, and we'll go over all the rules.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Hey, the wooden mustache says, how is the fiber laser working? Do I need a new rabbit hole?
Do you need a new rabbit hole? No, just pay me and I'll make whatever you want. And the fiber laser is awesome. I use it all the time, probably every day. I'm running that thing.
Which one did you get?
I got a OhmTech, the 30 watt MOPA.
Nice.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. I use it a lot. It's fun. I'm still learning. I mean, but it's fun. It's so easy, you know?
And that one you can do color, right? It will do color on metal.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. On stainless is is where it works. Yeah. I have seen people online, they're able to get color on brass, but it tarnishes and like it's only colored for a couple days. And then just by the nature of brass, it tarnishes quick. But like if you wanted to fiber laser color on brass, you could do it. You know, there's ways of doing it, but mainly it's for stainless.
So does the color come from the amount of heat, or how is the
It's
color?
like I missed the term now. It's like
Frequency, isn't it? Frequency.
well, yeah.
That's what,
I mean, through the fiber laser, you would do it through like frequency and what pulse you're at and the speed you're running and how many passes. But what is the color changing in metal? Like when you heat it up and it changes color, there's a term for
Is
that.
it temper or
I don't know
what
if
is
that's
that?
the term. Anthony is in the.
let me look at my friend's page
Somebody will
because
say it.
they do it.
What
Mark
is
is
it,
saying
Tony?
oxidation level.
He said
No,
temper
it's not
colors.
oxidation. I want to say it's temper colors, and those are the colors you can get. So it's like a hue of the rainbow you can do, and then you can fine tune it in from there.
Is it electro? Gosh,
No.
no. Let me see.
I think it's temper colors. What is it, Tony? He knows. He tells me all the time. I forget what it is.
He-
Yeah, that's what
said
he
temper
he
colors.
said in there.
Yeah, temper colors. So
Gotcha.
There you go.
Are these classes that are going on that are local to you? Does that have to do with Maker Camp, or is that something separate, or is it something that goes on all the time, or just every so often, or how does that work?
they happen throughout the winter, and one during the summer. Some of I guess they happen all the time. But they are called the intensives, like the Maker Camp intensive courses. So if you go on their website, they'll list them out. Like there's a leather one. So for 24, there's a leather epoxy, a silversmithing, and a blacksmith course. Then on top of that, they also do what's called a group forge project, where you go and you'll learn blacksmithing, and you do one group project with everyone else there. One year they made a huge fire pit, like a 6-foot round fire pit with all these decorative elements on it,
Nice.
completely blacksmith. And then the following year they made like a bench to go with it. This year they're doing it. It's coming up, I want to say April or March, and it'll be a firewood wagon is what you're making, or firewood something. Like right now they have a wagon there, but they're going to replace it with something to hold the firewood all around there. And you get to go and you learn that. And then they also have just a general hammer-in that you can go to in May. And that's just, you go up there, they have all the forges and presses and anvils out, and you get to try out blacksmithing or do blacksmithing if you're already a blacksmith. That event is, I think, free, or it's like $20. It's like nothing. And then over the summer, they do the timber in, as I discussed earlier. And they call those the intensives. So
Nice. Yeah, we got time for about one more little round here, and then we'll let you get off of here. Appreciate you being on.
yeah, thanks for having me.
Who's next? Jen?
Jen.
Me?
Jen,
Oh,
Jen.
me.
Jenny, Jenny is.
And Joey, anybody.
Okay. My quick question will be, so we saw that you got coal for Christmas.
I did.
Oh,
What are you using the coal for? Using it for drawing, or what? What is the purpose of the coal?
So I
Keeping
didn't
it
really,
warm.
I didn't really get coal for Christmas. I got that from Matt Stagmer. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a like a crazy blacksmith. And I had ordered for my wife. I ordered a chasing hammer that he made, and in the package he sends a couple of the chunks of coal from when he makes that in his coal forge. So it was just that, and my wife didn't want it. So I was like, oh, then that's mine, you know, and I took it. And I made he sent it to me just before Christmas. It wasn't a Christmas gift or anything, but he sent it to me just before Christmas. So I was like, I'm going to post this on Christmas and say I got coal for Christmas. So that's
Well,
what
see,
it
and
is.
I saw that you had some drawings and stuff, so I was like, well, maybe he does charcoal art or something. And then I'm scrolling, I'm like, oh, well, I don't see anything else that's related, so I have to ask what the heck the deal was.
nope.
Yep,
Just coal.
that's it. Just coal.
Just coal.
I told you it's hard to get content for every day. It really meant nothing.
It actually came in June.
No, it came the week before Christmas, but yeah, maybe 2 weeks before. But yeah.
So I'm going to ask kind of a different question than, your everything, your projects that you've done. What is your favorite medium to use or least favorite? Because you do a lot of, woodworking, you do
everything.
steel. Yeah. You do every leather. You just, you're making fluffy clouds. What's your favorite to do, and what's your least favorite?
My favorite, I guess, would be wood. I like wood. My least favorite, probably epoxy.
Really? Okay.
Oh, that stuff sucks, man.
I say that as I'm heading into an epoxy weekend at the Blackthorn, and I'm on here with Jake. But yeah, I don't like doing it. I don't like epoxy.
Maybe you'll like it more after this weekend.
Maybe.
Don't eat it. Don't eat it. That's my thing. Don't eat it.
I won't. I can promise you that.
It may look good, but it just doesn't taste good.
Sorry, Jake. I know we just became friends, and I apologize.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So, as a fellow podcaster, y'all been doing this for a while, and we're a fairly young podcast. What advice would you give us for the longevity? What have y'all learned doing it for the time that y'all been doing it?
My advice to you is get better guests than me. Consistency is all that really. Just do it every week, or bi-weekly, or whatever your pattern is. Just do it consistently. Yeah. Have good audio. I don't know. I mean, you guys do a little bit different because it's live, and then it's very produced how you guys do it. So I have no advice for you guys. I mean, you guys look like professionals already the way you handle this one. So
Jen keeps us in line. We got to have her on here because
that's what I'm talking. We got a trick.
Yeah,
that's called that social media trick. Yeah, that's what that is.
No, but I mean consistency. Yeah, I would just keep doing and just do whatever makes you guys happy. I mean, eventually you're going to find the people that it makes them happy too, and then just roll with that. Don't force anything. Don't do stuff that's not you guys.
There you go.
I'm a hog a last question. I know I said last round, but I'm a hog a last question because I'm a bully.
Here it comes.
Now, first, you said we just became friends, and you came on Saturday Morning Cartoons a couple weeks ago, and I appreciate you showing up and getting involved.
Yeah,
appreciate it. The other thing is, I struggle with photography, and I've heard it from Little Birdie that you're pretty good at it. What kind of advice do you have? Somebody that's brand new to it, is intimidated by it, and so what do you got?
Intimidated by what? I mean, that photography is a broad strokes there. We talk
just to hold the camera and all the different settings, or like what's your advice to take the edge off the intimidation, or just like
as far as a newbie, I would I would. What kind of camera you got?
I got a Sony EV10.
That's your first mistake. Yeah,
I'm
kidding. I mean, I always say, Jake, if you're gonna shoot a Canon. But just put it in the aperture priority mode, and learn what that is for now. Don't worry about anything else. I see Donna down here saying lighting, which is 100% true. But to learn the camera, put it in aperture priority mode and use just that for a month, right? And just know that the lower the number, the less that's in focus. The higher the number, the more that's in focus. But what I mean by that is your depth of field, right? So if you're going to do a landscape and you want everything in focus, go to a higher number, right? If you're going to do something like a portrait, you want to go on a lower number. Don't go too low, depending on what lens you have. If you get down to a 1.8, you can put the tip of somebody's nose in focus and the rest of their face is out of focus. So you have to learn focus, composition. But as far as the camera settings and things like that, just go into AV mode and use that. I know a lot of professional photographers. I'm in a lot of photography clubs, and anyone that says I only shoot in manual mode is a liar. They're an absolute liar. They all shoot in AV mode. So roll with it.
Appreciate it. I had a
And if you
Canon
have
at first.
questions,
Yeah,
if
go
you
ahead.
have questions, you know where to find me.
Yeah, I had a Canon at first. When I first started this whole thing, I'm like, I need a big camera, blah, blah, blah. And I could never keep it in focus. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't take the time to get into it. And Jamie has it now. I took it to England. I shipped it to England before I went there last time. I go, here you go, buddy.
I use prime lenses mainly, and that makes you move and think about it. So, like, if you can lock in, you probably have a zoom lens, right? Just lock in on whatever. It's probably the kit lens. So just do 18 millimeter, and take a day or a weekend and go out and take photos at just that like, don't zoom it, don't do anything, and change the camera, like whatever the photo is, just by moving yourself and your feet, and you'll find better compositions and all that stuff. Let the lighting and all that stuff that'll work itself out later. First, you got to learn the camera and what the camera can do for you.
Okay. Appreciate it. You'll
And call
probably
me
be
with
hearing from me.
questions.
Probably
Yeah.
be hearing from me.
I'm here for you. Don't worry.
Oh,
But I did get I got the kit lens, and then I got another lens too that's prime.
Perfect. Is it it's probably the nifty 50, right?
It's a Sigma 16 and has 1.4.
All right. Yeah.
And so I've been devouring myself in YouTube videos the last week before I pulled the trigger on it, and then
Are you using it for photography or for video?
it's going to be for both. But this
Video,
weekend I'm going to have it.
I'm only so at, but photography I can help you out with.
Yeah, this weekend I'm going to have it as an extra camera on cartoons, so we can just test it, and I'll just have it on another thing, just so I'm not dependent on it solely. Like I it needs to have a practice run before I trust it.
Yeah.
For the video. So anyway, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, Keith, appreciate you coming on. And at this point here, if you got anything coming up on the podcast or in your own platform, let everybody know. I got all of Keith's links below. And this is the part where we just kind of wrap it up.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys having me on. You can find me at Working Hands Podcast with Tony or on Blackthorn Concepts. The only thing we have really going on that I should push is the Make What You Fear challenge. So if you have a project coming up, get in on that. There's some awesome prizes. I won't go over them all, but you can win a ticket to Maker Camp. So if you're on the fence and you win, that may get you there. So definitely participate, and you can check us out over there for all the details. Thank you.
All right. Jenny.
Nice.
With two N's.
Jen with two N's.
Troll.
Joey. Troll. I love you too. What do I have going on? I had my first paint party last weekend, went really well, and I have a couple more already scheduled. And I mentioned at the beginning of the year that one of my goals for the new year was to start doing wholesale retail orders, and I've got a couple of those going now, so things are looking pretty good.
There you go.
That's what I was talking about. Matthew.
In the shop, still trying to organize it. I got something built for the Harbor Freight / anything dust collector, so that we don't have to change out stupid bags and getting that. Well, when you dump a bag in your face, it's just eating sawdust. It's just no good. I'm telling you.
It's good for you.
Fiber.
Not that there's a video on that or anything, but it's there. But so getting that done and still trying to get the shop organized. That's the goal for the year, is organization. So that's me.
There you go. Saturday morning cartoons. We have some very, very cool things to auction off this week. We only need $260 more to make 8,000 for that's going to be a single wish. So it's amazing. Tell your friends they can show up and watch us raise some money and get involved. Floored by how awesome everybody's been. There's people that we don't know, people we just met, and they're contributing, and it is super, super cool, and it makes us feel good to give to that. So we're going to make some blanks that we're going to auction off next week. That's what we're doing on cartoons. So come and see us, and thank everybody that's been involved. Here you go, Joey Gonzales.
I myself are continuing on with my Make What You Fear project. As a lot of y'all been seeing my office renovation, expansion, whatever the heck you want to call it. But that's what I'm focusing on from here till the end of March. And next week we have nobody on the show since it's Valentine's Day. So we're just going to be talking about who knows
Straight
what.
to love. Straight to love.
love.
Valentine's Day.
But everybody out there, I'd like to thank everybody out in the chat. Y'all go follow Working Hands Podcast, Blackthorn Concepts. All their links are below. Go check them out. Super cool podcast. It's awesome. It's a little bit wilder than what we do, but it's a great, great listen. I highly recommend y'all going and checking them out. And remember, please go out there. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review to help us out. And I want 10 stars, nothing less. But other than that, we'll see y'all. There you go, Jen. We'll see y'all next week. 10. We'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place, same beautiful faces. And we are out of here. Bye now.